Good afternoon. Welcome to the Workforce of the Future podcast. I'm Jacques DeBose with Mix Consulting. Glad to be here today with my friend Art Flores and his lovely wife Kim here at the ArtCom headquarters. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you coming by and learning about ArtCom. ArtCom is a family-owned business. It's been around since 1988, founded by my father-in-law and mother-in-law, and family is a big deal to ArtCom. You'll walk around this office and see cousins, and my daughters work here, and it's always been the foundation of ArtCom, and Art and his sister Lori run this business, and I'm so proud of them and what they do here.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I've known Art for a while, and we go back to some other days and doing different things. That I was anyway, but you know, I find that when you step into a business or you meet business owners where there's a lot of family involved, it brings such a different, unique value to that business and an understanding, and I think a better understanding for your clients as well. So thanks for having us here today.
Absolutely. Now, you're right. Family businesses are dynamic. And as a business owner, I'd say every business owner faces challenges. And I think family businesses face a little extra layer of challenges. But, you know, we've made it work for 37 years. We're a third generation company. Hopefully working on the fourth, no pressure. But it's up to them. I mean, my sister and I chose to continue on in the family business. And, you know, what we offer, Jacques, in the community across Texas, we have multiple offices in Texas to help service our customers and their footprint. But we are a low voltage security technology integrator. And what that means is we run data cables for network use and security use, telephony use. Multiple platforms ride that infrastructure, whether it's copper or fiber. And we have a multitude of telephony platforms that customers can utilize to accomplish their own business goals. Taking it to the network side, wireless access has become more and more of a need than it used to be a luxury, and now it's an expectation.
Right. Yeah.
So the market's changing from that perspective. So in every field, AV, fire, we offer low voltage solutions to our clients, and we help design and implement them in commercial projects across the state.
So you work with a lot of large businesses, small businesses. You can serve clients of all sizes, right?
We do. We don't discriminate. We have a lot of SMBs that we serve, along with medium and large to enterprise projects. Being here 37 years, we're really grateful for the people that have worked with us a long time, and a lot of those are small business. So we do stay attuned to their needs. We are evolving into learning platforms that want to work with small business and want to work with large business, and put them in the best place for their situation and their budget.
Yeah, that's interesting. So on the Workforce of the Future podcast, we look at the challenges of the future workforce and how do people hire and how do they retain top talent. And with what you do, y'all employ a good number of people. But have you looked at other opportunities, or, you know, a lot of business owners that I talk to, that's a struggle, is finding good talent and people that will stay on board, that retention process. If you bring them on board, you train them, they're there with you, and then when you lose that person, it takes so much longer to bring somebody else in and get them up to speed. So
Absolutely.
Any thoughts on that? Because you've been in the game for a while and hiring folks and know a lot of business owners yourself.
Sure. I think, like, to your point, it's changed a lot. There used to be, if there was turnover, there was another applicant right behind him. Whereas now, my observation is the new labor force has a higher expectation of the employers. It's not just, they're not there to collect the check anymore like previous generations were. They have an expectation of work-life balance. They have an expectation of education. They have an expectation of mentorship. And what we're seeing in our labor force, we currently have well over 100 full-time employees across Texas. And this is a trade, Jacques. I mean, I consider myself an advocate for the low voltage trade. Some of the gentlemen and women that come into this trade evolve into electrical, but that's a large trade that's widely served, whereas the low voltage space is a specialty trade. And we work real hard to refine that skill set within people who have an interest in it. If they have an interest in wanting to learn about telephony or wanting to learn about security products, cloud or premise-based, because cloud's the future. Everybody now wants to use cloud-based products, and the traditional products that we sell, not all of them have evolved to that platform. So it's a big duty we take on, and I don't know that we have the answers or it all figured out, but we're continually evolving with the labor force because we work in partnership with them.
Right. I want to jump into another topic. So I was with American Red Cross for several years as executive director and covered a large area, a lot of rural areas as well. Mm-hmm. And sometimes communications in those areas could be challenging.
Very.
We'd respond to disasters in kind of a rural area, middle of nowhere. and we'd have to bring in satellite phones and find other ways to communicate, and it can be challenging. And some of those drives, driving out to Del Rio, there's spots where I had no coverage, and I need to get in touch with somebody. So, can you talk a little bit about how ArtCom might have a solution for those kind of problems that people face or businesses face, or emergency services, nonprofits, you name it. I mean, they all face challenges in the rural area.
Absolutely. I think you picked the very underserved population there. I mean, so things you mentioned, the sat phones and cell phone coverages in some areas, those are options still. They're not good. They're more traditional. But, one big game changer that came along with Starlink, offering Starlink internet services to some of our commercial clients that are in between a city like San Antonio and Eagle Pass, or any other rural area in between two larger cities. There's usually not infrastructure there for them to utilize internet in an economical way. So how ArtCom's evolved to serve those clients is just by becoming more aware of the partners that offer these rural services, so that we can be a better resource for them to refer these products and services. Our understanding is, these rural customers have very inexpensive internet tools that are not as effective, or very expensive tools that are highly effective. We're trying to find that middle ground for them, where they can say, hey, this makes sense for my business, this fits my budget, and I'm not tied to it for 10 years. I can make a buying decision if and when the infrastructure does reach my area. So rural clients are complicated. They don't have a lot of folks from my industry usually go out there and visit them. So we try to give them that face time. We have a reputation in small towns, well, used to be small towns that are growing, Seguin, Floresville, Pleasanton, and so on. There's plenty around San Antonio and Texas that we've served, and we're proud to serve them. And we'll continue to learn the options they'll have for service, for internet and other things as that evolves. But technology's changing so fast, Jacques. It's hard to say what the future is going to hold. But I would say Starlink's the biggest game changer for economical bandwidth in the rural areas.
And that's something ArtCom can provide?
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic.
Through partnerships, yes.
So, I mean, I learn something new every day, and I always enjoy my time that I get to spend with you, whether we're grabbing lunch or coffee or at a meeting somewhere. And sometimes when we're together, I can see like the wheels turning, in Art's brain, and the technology aspect and other things, just doing things like you're coming on board for our conference. But I want to ask Kim, so what's it like with Art, because you know him probably better than anybody, to when those wheels are turning, or just coming up with those ideas out of the blue that can, serve a client or help an organization?
I think it's funny to hear him talking about these new things like Starlink, and because his brain is always turning and learning new things, and it is always to service his clients and learn their needs. And one of the core values of ArtCom is continuous learning, and
Nice.
he is the epitome of that. ArtCom really does try to understand their clients and their needs, and creating solutions for them. And this learning technology, learning solutions, it starts with the leadership here, and it trickles down, because then everyone in the office, including the outside workforce, the technicians, see that, and they're excited to learn new things. And it's a great opportunity for the company to expand the services and products that they can provide.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, because that's the impression I get.
Yeah,
Is with Art. The wheels are always turning. He's an idea man in my book.
they are,
and
for sure.
I enjoy hanging out or being with him, and some of the things I see that he's genuine and sincere, and like you said, he really cares about meeting people where they are. How can I help that organization or help that client, or even doing stuff where he's served in capacities for nonprofits and things like that. It's just,
Right.
It's a real blessing to have leadership like you in the community, who's a business owner, a business leader, and making a difference everywhere. And obviously you engaged in helping him and supporting him in what he does. So I think y'all make a dynamic team.
Thank you.
But,
I just want to give
I-
a little credit to the previous generations.
Certainly.
It's a learned habit, right? My
Right.
parents were also hard workers and continuous learners. I mean, those core values that we have as a company, they're not just mine. My sister, my parents, Kim, we've had the family contributes to that. We want people to know who we are, Like I said earlier about the workforce, the continuous learning track. The workforce today, that's a huge expectation. It's a two-way interview, whereas in the past it used to be a one-way interview. And they want to know what certifications I'm going to help them get. They want to know what licenses we're going to help them get. What products are we going to give them access to? So it's a much different interview than it was for me, let's say 20 years ago.
Okay.
Thank you for touching on that. That's a really great point to bring up. But just want to give credit to where credit's due, right?
No, absolutely.
It's a learned behavior.
Yep.
That's where it comes from.
Just the other day, Art was in an interview, and he came home and told me about it, and he said that the gentleman that he was interviewing told him it was the best interview he's ever been on. And I think this is an example of Art, when I hear him speaking to potential employees about all the things they can learn, what he wants to teach them, and that he even offers to take it with them. If this isn't the fit, you've learned all that knowledge. We could teach you something. You could take it with you. We hope that you'll stay on board. But I know it's something, having two young daughters myself that are entering that age of working full time, no longer in school, that they want to learn because, not to open another can, but AI is a future. So this trade, as Art called it, it's something that's not going away, and that they're gonna utilize. So
yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, you need folks in that role, and the fact that you take them on board, you mentor them. Here at ArtCom, they get that education, certifications, things that can take them further down the road as they grow with your company. That's pretty amazing, and then they have skills, valuable skills they can use throughout their lifetime.
Well, and this is global. I mean, so if someone's here with me for 5, 6, 7 years, and they get a security license and a product set, I mean, if they move to Bali, they can be a security contractor there. Or if they go to Wyoming or Colorado or wherever, pick
so
your
translate wherever they go.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, security, unfortunately, is a universal skill set. And so if you understand how platforms work, if you understand basic infrastructure and principles, we can help somebody take it as far as they want to take.
That's amazing. I may have, forgive me for jumping around, but when we were talking about the rural aspects of things, the communication out there, is that's a service you can offer to law enforcement, first responders?
Oh, of course. I mean, so they're in a different realm. When you're dealing with what we call the FedGov clientele, there's products that they have access to that not the general public doesn't. Right. And that just gives them priority. I mean, those of us who've been through emergencies understand that some services become limited access. And so prioritization is important, and we can help guide them to those tools. Not everybody's aware of what's in their area or what's available to them, and we're happy to come in to build the relationship, make them aware of those services, and even put some pricing to it.
Yeah, there was, I can't remember what it was called, but when I was responding to disasters, and I responded to a lot of them, but in Texas and other places, Hurricane Harvey, probably one of the biggest, but they had something on our phones that was a way of communicating that on another system, like if everything went down in cell towers. I don't recall what it was, but I'm sure it's something that you have a knowledge of, and it's probably changed a lot since back then.
There's a lot of platforms that will do a unified communication process. One product that we sell is a product called Blue Point, and it's a law enforcement communication product. It's a blue box on the wall where the handle says police. You pull it, and law enforcement's communicated with directly. Now, what happens after that handle is pulled is completely defined by the organization that decides to move forward with it, because what it's supposed to do is align with all of their emergency processes. So it may start a huge text chain within their leadership. It may actuate people to go to safe zones or safe areas. Whatever the protocol processes is for that entity is what that technology will be programmed to align with. So to your point, there's a lot of specialty products out there. We're proud to offer Blue Point. We've already deployed that to several school districts, commercial applications as well. So it's an evolving piece, Jacques, especially in the rural area, to find budget-conscious products and services that can work in almost any environment.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, because I don't think a lot of people are aware of those capabilities, that, especially for first responders, law enforcement, and the needs that they have. I wanted to jump now, talk a little bit about you coming on board with Nexus Expo 2025 in San Antonio. which is going to take place August 25th and 26th. That's at the Elan.
Mm-hmm.
So everything will be happening there. We have people coming from out of town, out of state. Got folks coming from Costa Rica, from Belize, from Mexico, Georgia, like all over the place. We do have a big focus on the Texas Triangle, which, Dallas up top, Houston,
Absolutely.
Austin, San Antonio. So we're really trying to get a market saturation there to get those people together. But technology is so important to this conference and talking about workforce and other things. And we have a whole day 2 dedicated to technology. And first I want to thank you for, when I called you up and said, hey, this is the vision that we have and this is where we're going. Would you like to be a part of it? Would you like to be a sponsor? And that's when your wheels started turning and we were on the phone for a while, and it's just, you made me see things like in a whole different light. So one, I want to thank you for coming on board, for providing leadership and guidance and networking. Not the kind of networking you do at ArtCom, but the other one that's really vital, networking with people, like, sitting down one-on-one, finding out, hey, this is what we got going on. This is how you could fit into it. This is how it can help. So one, I want to say how, a lot of gratitude to you, and share a little bit about your thoughts for the Nexus Expo that's coming up in August. And
Sure.
A lot of the folks that are going to be at the table and sponsors are people that you've connected me with. So,
well, I'll let Kim touch on the why, why we're looking at your conference. But I also want to say thank you back to you. I mean, Jacques, we know each other a long time. It's always great to work with good people doing great things. And so that was my main reason for supporting you. I wanted to see this thing do well and see you do well, and hopefully everybody wins. The buyer, the people that come to the conference, the people that attend the conference, everybody finds synergies. We're a very traditional company. I haven't made any efforts to use a lot of non-traditional tools. So I'll segue to Kim there so she can share what this conference offers us as a company. I mean, we are very excited about it. I think that it could open new doors for us.
Yeah, it seemed like a natural fit now that it's coming to fruition. I did hear about it at the beginning stages, but we've talked about continuous learning, and art at the heart of that wants to learn to be a better business owner, but also to be a better towards his clients, and one of the clients being BPO partners, and to participate and to be involved and get to visit with the people attending the conference is only going to allow us as a company to hear more about creating efficiencies, growing their revenue, how we could solve problems that may be unique to their industry. And we look forward to just listening and learning there, and providing solutions potentially for the people attending. So we're looking forward to partnering with you on that. And
I'll just dovetail off that. I mean, all of our current team members are full-time employees. And so your conference and your idea of using these companies and tools and resources to help scale our organization without those hard costs is, to us, it's a game changer, because we have a culture, we have a way of doing things that's worked for 37 years. That doesn't mean it shouldn't be evaluated and potentially changed or adapted. Maybe partnerships, maybe a hybrid, right?
Sure.
But that's why your conference intrigued us so much, because it challenged. We see so many companies growing and scaling at massive rates, that they've been here way less than 37 years and growing very quickly. And they're leveraging tools of what you're bringing to the conference. So, just out there, anyone who's listening, if you're a traditionalist like me who hasn't adopted any of these offshore and nearshore resources, take some time and learn, because there's things that can be done very economically that we just can't accomplish here. And even though Texas has all the growth, has all the development, I mean, things are getting higher and higher expense.
All right, we're going to get back to that in just a second. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll get back to talking about the Nexus Expo as well. This podcast was brought to you by Mix Consulting, mixconsulting.com. We can take care of your business consulting needs, your nonprofit needs. We do nonprofit consulting as well, also advocacy and government relations. Another exciting thing we're doing is we're hosting the Nexus Expo SA. You can find more information about the Nexus Expo SA at nexusexposa.com. We're bringing people from around the world in the Texas Triangle into a business conference and an expo to learn about the workforce of the future and how you can find these options when it comes to technology and workforce options. Look forward to seeing y'all there. So we were talking about BPOs, business process outsourcing, and how that's become more of a thing. And some of the BPOs that I have relationships with offer this white glove service. They onboard that person. You vet them, you onboard them, get all the training. So you're selecting a staff person, and then that's a business expense you can write off. So some of my friends that are smaller business owners have approached me. They have a contractor. He does home building and remodeling, and he does commercial stuff as well. And he can only do so much. He has his guys out in the field that are doing all the work, but he needs a little more help. Mm-hmm. So he's actually already had a meeting with LATAM Doers, who you've met, the CEO from LATAM Doers, Fernando. Mm-hmm. So it can help a small business that just needs somebody maybe 3 hours a day.
And that's a huge nugget.
Business.
And that's a huge nugget that I think people will get from the conference because, again, more like a traditionalist, I would hire 2 or 3 people in the office to do that back order processing, and that'll include benefits and everything else that goes with it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But to know the option of offshore and nearshore BPOs, I think in my mind, before we got involved with this conference, that was something that larger corporations used. Right. And to understand that plumbing companies and HVAC, electrical, and other trade-associated companies are using these services was an eye-opener for me. Mm-hmm. I truly understand that we need to start evaluating and evolving these tools more and more. So I commend your small business friends for calling you because it's a paradigm shift. I mean, we're looking at the industry and saying, how are we going to scale? How are we going to afford to grow and meet the opportunities that are out there right now? So
I have another friend that's a PO broker, and he has a lot going on. And he just opened up plumbing businesses on top of that with his sons. So,
not enough stress.
Yeah, not enough stress, right? Yes. So I talked to him about both options. Maybe as you grow the plumbing company, you need someone to do dispatch. You got time zone adjacent. English is not a concern. Whether you go to Belize or Costa Rica or Mexico, that opportunity's out there so that when you need to dispatch somebody in the late evening or after hours for an plumbing emergency, you got that person who can do it for you.
Sure. And I'll just do a little shameless ArtCom plug right there.
Sure.
So there's products that we offer that do a translation from English to Spanish. So as these businesses are evolving, that becomes less and less of a challenge.
Right.
Multiple platforms offer it. It just would depend on how the business wants, the nuance they want to use it in. But if that's a challenge people are facing, we can introduce them to products and platforms that can solve that ill.
And that's real time.
Well, there's a couple seconds delay, but it is very close to real time.
Very close to real time. Yeah, we discussed that when we went to the LATAM Doers event in Austin. We discussed that there. And it was pretty interesting to learn that, you have that capability and to offer that to a potential client. So that was interesting for me. So a lot of the BPOs are in Belize, but in Belize, actually BPOs have become like the number one industry.
I've learned.
It's a very small country. Tourism is big, but now BPOs are massive.
Well, they're great paying jobs in those communities. They're making a huge impact.
They really are. They really are. So my friend Justin, who you've met as well, lives in Belize part-time and lives in Texas part-time, and is friends with a lot of the BPO owners and managers. And when he was teaching college, he had taught a lot of those kids. And there's not a lot of opportunity. They can go into the service industry, they can go into other jobs, but the BPO jobs are more professional, more elevated, and they pay a better wage than most jobs out there. Whether you're working at a hotel, doing reservations or checking in clients. He told me what his daughter made. We're doing marketing for a hotel, and it was, I made more than that when I was in high school an hour, I think. So the wage structure that these BPOs are paying, they're getting rewarded because they're doing a good job. The English, they can have a good command of English language. A lot of them grew up, maybe not everywhere in Mexico, but in Costa Rica and Belize and other places like that, Jamaica, American television, watching a lot of YouTube. So,
well, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, you said it yourself. BPOs are becoming a higher and higher employer in Belize, and that wouldn't be happening if they were failing. So
right.
I think the fact that the community relies on that more ties to their reliability as a company and as individuals, and that's what helps me to get excited about this, because again, we're very traditional. I won't say we're slow to change, but we're very methodical when we change. We look at everything, how it would impact the whole ecosystem, from our company and our team members to our distributors and our manufacturers, our clients, everyone. And I think this will be pretty elegant when we learn how to use it best.
Yeah. One comment I'll make is, so you met Alberto.
I did.
Good friend of mine, known him for several years. I've hired him for different things, strategic planning, working with board of directors, doing long-term planning for organizations. He's just an amazing guy. From Mexico originally. He was in San Antonio for several years, and then he messed up and moved to Austin. So I'm still mad at him about that, because we can't have like a frosty beverage every now and then. But anyway, he's going to be one of our speakers. Incredibly smart. But Alberto has brought on board a virtual assistant, and what he does, he meets with her on Monday. They schedule everything out. She does all of his LinkedIn posts. She does all of. I hope he's okay that I'm sharing this, but anyway, too late. It's out of the bag. So she manages his calendar.
Sure.
She sets appointments. She can respond to stuff in the tone that he would. So if she's responding to a comment on LinkedIn, she already has these set instructions. This is how I would normally do this, right? So that freed up, and he's a night owl. Sometimes I get emails from Alberto at 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Now he has more time to focus on the things that he needs to do, because as you met her virtually, as I did, we met his virtual assistant virtually when we were both in Austin. So what are your thoughts on that? I'd like to get your insight, Kim, of somebody having a virtual assistant that's your right hand running everything for you, and you plan everything out, and it's, what are your thoughts on
I
that?
happen to know a lot of people that could benefit from a virtual assistant. No, I think it's great. I think it's just revolutionary. It sounds like a big word to use, but it's just something, like Art said, that traditionally was done by someone that you saw every day and worked with every day, but it's an opportunity to free yourself. And as an entrepreneur like Art, you want to look at your next big thing, your
Right.
next idea, how you can grow, how you can make better the business that you're running, and it just frees up your time and your mental capacity, and it allows room for other stuff and giving yourself in other ways. and they benefit too. You're talking about these BPOs and other countries, and it sounds like people helping people to me.
It really does.
It just
Yeah.
sounds
What really
very
appealed to
positive.
me when we were approached about doing this conference with a focus on BPOs and other work sources, because we're going to have staffing companies there and some other folks there, and big technology component as well. But what appealed to me is that these staff members that are employed by the BPO are making a good wage. They're working in a place that's a good environment to be in, and they're in a professional setting. And it's, to me, that really appealed, because I like that there's that opportunity for people in other countries where they can make a difference. They can get paid for their knowledge. And if you bring on somebody, or I bring on somebody, and they contact my virtual assistant, it's going to be like they're calling Mixed Consulting.
Sure.
It's going to be seamless. They're going to have all the training that they need. They're going to be able to do the scheduling, whatever it might be. They dispatch plumbing trucks. They dispatch logistics, you name it. There's things that every vertical that's out there. There's some that focus on just medical, others that focus on hospitality and reservations. There's a myriad. You think about the vertical, legal.
Sure.
There's BPOs that do legal.
I mean, it was shocking for me to learn how many things that they've touched and are able to touch.
Right.
I just didn't realize that many industries or verticals were BPO candidates, even mine, right? And
Yeah.
so to echo some of Kim's sentiments, I mean, bandwidth for sure. I mean, if you give an entrepreneur bandwidth, that can create a lot of other businesses and opportunities.
Sure.
But one thing I learned from your friend who had the virtual assistant, specifically the LATAM doers, is time zone. Virtual assistants aren't that new, but I think I won't speak to where they are, but in other regions of the world, there's a time lag. And this region
Time
here,
zone adjacent is
and
important.
absolutely, it's huge, right? Because if you're in Texas, Texas is like doing business in no other state. California has their modalities. New York has theirs. DC, Florida, everybody has theirs.
Mhm.
Texas moves quickly. And to have somebody respond maybe in an 8, 10, 12-hour gap, that's not going to be highly
Right.
effective for someone like me. I need something quicker. And I think that the company that Fernando's company is going to deliver something special to people in Texas specifically,
Right.
and give entrepreneurs, business owners, people that are just moving at the speed of light, more bandwidth, if they're
Mhm.
going to have these tools.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I'll share Adam Blanchard, he's one of our sponsors, and he has several companies, kind of a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And really interesting guy, and we've got some connections now. He's going to be speaking at the event as well. But he has a couple of logistics companies, trucking companies, and one of the frustrations he had was the dispatch challenge, because you're trying to keep those trucks going all the time, or not trying, you have to.
Mm-hmm.
And so he initially was working with a BPO in Ukraine, and then one somewhere else. And then things kind of went south when the war happened in Ukraine, and he was working with some folks in Poland, and just the time zone and other things that came into play really frustrated him. So what did he do? You would appreciate him as well. He creates his own BPO. He goes down to Costa Rica. He finds people. He employs them.
That's awesome.
Puts them to work. He said he's got an apartment down there where he can take people if they want to check out his BPO. I need to do that. Since you're going to be at my conference, I'll take you up on that offer. Yeah, we all need to go. But that's what, you mentioned Texans, and we work different. And I love the old ad. I don't know why Texas ever got away with it. When it was like a whole nother country. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
It really is. But I love the fact that there's people like you and Adam, they see a problem, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to address it. I'll start in my own BPO.
That's right.
And so he has partners that have come with him. But his main thing was being a BPO for his businesses. And that's now branched out where he's growing and looking at an additional footprint in Costa Rica as well. So, that just blows my mind that we have people like that, like you, that they see something and like, well, I need to find a solution. I went here, they couldn't solve it for me. Then a war breaks out, sadly. So what else can I do?
That's right. And most entrepreneurs see obstacles as opportunities.
Exactly.
That's why most of us are here doing what we do.
Yeah. So back to Alberto. I mean, it's changed. It's been a game changer for him having that virtual assistant, and so it's something that I'm looking at as well. But bringing even small businesses in, you think, no, they don't need it. It's too expensive. Actually, it's very affordable. It's a lot more affordable if they're not in a position to bring on 2 or 3 full-time equivalents, right?
Sure,
So,
and also lost business, right? I mean,
yes.
when you're measuring costs, sometimes people ignore or forget the lost business that happens from not spending money. And when you don't have someone taking those calls, especially in the trades industry, from my perspective, they're going to keep calling. They're going to call other companies.
Right.
So, I think the virtual assistants could be very helpful to small businesses that have more of a non-traditional mindset, that are thinking to scale quickly. It's a huge advantage, Jacques. I mean, I'm almost 50 years old. If I had to start a business right now today, I think I'd utilize more of those resources today than what I'm doing today.
Yeah. Even some of the staffing companies that we've talked with, even they have a friend that owns a staffing company, and it's kind of multi-generational. She's now running it. I think her grandmother started it several years ago, and they do a lot of federal stuff, but they do other things. But sometimes they struggle to find that right employee to put in place that company needs. If it's not somebody that needs to be in an office in a desk where you're located, then they can look to a BPO for a partnership and meet those needs, that the challenges that they're facing as a staffing company, which sounds odd, but yeah, it is, because the workforce is not like it used to be. It's completely different.
Right. It's evolved.
So, it's evolved quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you mentioned, I don't know if I already said this, the work-life balance that you guys provide here at ArtCom. I think when somebody goes to a BPO as a resource and brings them on board, whether it's a small business or a large business, bringing on several agents, and an agent, somebody in a chair that's taking care of their clients, right? I think it really helps their work-life balance as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
For those business owners, people like
family time, dinners are had. The basics. That's what I'm saying. Bandwidth and having room to think. One of my mentors, Roy Terracina, a long time ago asked me, how much time do you set apart a week to think? And at that point, I thought that was a hilarious idea. I was so busy flying around town, but it was so important. And I do make time to think. And that's a big part of, I think, our success is everybody in leadership's making time to think, to see as obstacles before they become true obstacles, and to see coaching before that person becomes uncoachable, and options like that. I think the more time we give to thinking about business, and not so much innovation, just what we can do as an individual contributor to that team, makes a big difference. Having the time. That bandwidth is huge.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Something else, we'll wrap up here in a few minutes, but if you could share a little bit, you're both connected to the tech industry and know a lot of people, and you've introduced me to people that I would have never met had it not been for you. And Talaris has partnered with us on this and bringing in different companies that are in the tech industry. Do you want to share a little bit about that? Because a lot of people aren't even aware that that's out there, right?
Sure.
The average person that goes to work, they don't realize a lot of the tools they are using are because of companies like Artcom and Telaris and other agencies out there that provide that service.
Jacques, it comes back to that continuous learning. We are constantly seeking out partnerships with platforms and organizations that can help our clients achieve their goals. Some people have something as simple as a mass emailing campaign or a mass texting campaign, and the uptick in use of texting has really changed the world of telephony as far as how telephones are used in business today. Whereas traditionally you would have a phone on your desk and everybody would have a phone on their desk. Some may have an app on their computer. Some may have an app on their phone. Some may still have a phone on their desk, but that's up to the client now. So, sticking with these platforms, what I'll tell the public is this: if you're looking to achieve or impact your business or community in a way that where you don't think traditional tools will work, reach out to someone like me or Artcom, and we can introduce you or guide you on the platforms that can help you accomplish these tasks economically, is what I'd say. Because it's so broad, Jacques.
Right.
I mean, there are systems that will. I'll give one nugget about AI, because that's a hot topic. One thing that I will tell you that small businesses should take advantage of is this: there are telephony platforms that'll record every conversation the business has, no matter how small or large it is. Those recordings are then able to be listened to by AI and produce a score of that call to grade that call, how well it went in your organization. That criterion is developed by the leadership of that organization. So all of that automation gives you so many nuggets of data and feedback and analytics where you can make decisions a lot quicker than some companies might be able to without those platforms.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I feel like you learn something new every day, but hanging around Art, I'm actually smarter for being here today. So, and from Kim as well.
Very kind.
So we really appreciate your time. I know you're busy, and y'all both carved out time out of your day to be with us here on the Workforce of the Future podcast, and look forward to working with you again. And maybe we do another podcast on something else later on down the road.
Sounds great. We enjoyed it. Thank you for coming by.
All right.
Thank you.